Hey everybody, welcome back. My name's Sabrina. I help homeowners understand their equity so that way they can make decisions confidently. Tonight we will be going over how to avoid emotional financial decisions. Homeowner and life workshop here. So tonight's topic is honestly one of the most important ones I've done so far because some of the biggest financial mistakes they start out as emotional decisions. And let's be honest, these decisions are not easy. What emotional decisions actually look like? Most emotional financial decisions don't feel emotional in the moment. They feel urgent or stressful or exciting. You have a lot of different emotions going on right now. Pressure. Pressure changes thinking. Okay, when we feel pressure, it automatically becomes harder to slow down and think long term. And that's usually where the mistakes happen. For example, a simple example, think in the moment you're waiting in line at the ice cream shop. You have a little bit of ways to go, but you have an idea of what you want. So you get your heart set on it or your mind set on it, whatever. Um, Ultimately, you get up to the line and then you are at the counter and you realize there is another flavor or something else maybe you wanted behind there, and you have to make a really quick decision in the moment, like, okay, should I go with what I was set on, or should I go with this new item or enticing item, or maybe it's just something else that you just know you want more, so you're stuck. So we make decisions all the time, all throughout our day. We have little micro moments where we make a whole lot of decisions. So it's great to slow down in the moment and just make sure that you're making the right decision. Now, if you get the wrong ice cream, it's probably not going to be the end of the world or whatever the case may be. I'm just using a very simple example here. But you see how enticing it can be when you get different ideas and different ice creams, I should say, or maybe you're talking to one lender or one broker and they mention something you were not thinking about. And yeah, that can help, make the best decision in the long run. So you want to take your time, not feel this type of pressure because pressure just creates a narrow thinking. And we all have our right to change our mind for the better, ultimately. All right, let me explain this. I've worked in many different situations with many different situations over the years, as far as job changes, divorce, growing families, even unexpected expenses. And emotions naturally become part of these decisions. And we have loved ones that we care for. We have growing families. There's a lot going on. So, a lot of factors to consider. Um, you know, Different ones go into different categories. For example, just plainly putting this out there, if I were to personally move, I have to think about a lot of things. I have to think about budget. I have to think about where if my kids are going to be going to a different school, I have to think about this, that, where my family's located, what's going to be most convenient for me. And that's a lot to think about. Sometimes it doesn't always make sense. So definitely take your time with these decisions. Yeah, because real life does happen and things happen that are out of our control. So I want to make sure. Well, here's the thing. Approval versus comfort. One thing I always tell people, just because something is approved doesn't automatically mean it fits comfortably in your life. And many will see approved, conditionally approved, approved, congratulations, and get invested right away. It's just a normal thing. Social social pressure. Comparison creates pressure, and we all know this. Sometimes pressure does not come from lenders, it comes from comparing ourselves to everybody else. Ultimately, when you're scrolling, you can't help but to see different people doing different things. There's a variety of things. Upgrading houses, there's social media. We hear friends buying homes, there's lifestyle pressures, and that social pressure is not the best for you because ultimately you have your own life to live. You have your own budget to take care of. I am not going to stretch myself just so I can have a fancy car to drive because I have a social pressure to get a fancy car. That's not right. And a lot of people don't think that way, but yeah, so be careful with social pressure that that can create situations where you may not be making the best decision at the end of the day. So definitely think things through. And I will say this too. I have talked to so many that have really great income, really great um things going on, and they do have the nice cars, the nice houses, but they're also in debt too as well. So it's not always the best situation. I've helped so many clients out, different social classes, I should say, like affluent, mass affluent. I don't even know, middle class. I've helped clients from every situation, and I can tell you that there is social pressure no matter what. Questions to ask yourself. So before making a big financial decision, you want to pause, you want to ask yourself, will this create peace for me or will this create pleasure? Am I rushing? Take a moment. I love the 24-hour rule. Now, with a big decision like this may take months, weeks. It just depends. Sometimes you're in a time crunch and you have to make a decision like, let's move forward right away. So it all just depends on the situation, circumstances. We all have different things going on. And I always say we're all on different timelines. So we choose we do what we need to do in the moment. And everybody has different things going on. But look at these two questions or three questions. Ask yourself, will this create peace or pressure? There's your first one. Second one, am I rushing? Am I rushing this decision? Take a step back and look. And the third, does this fit my long-term goals? So that's the third question. Does this fit my long-term goals? And by that, I mean, look a few years in the future, see how your life's going to look, how old your kids are going to be. Maybe there's different things going on with family changes. I don't know. Um, you have so many things going on, like a new marriage, new babies, helping elders. We do a lot. And that looking into the future can help. I mean, it could be anything from income and your job. You can plan to around that as well. So take a look at it from so many different angles and think of how you really want your life to look like and if it's going to make sense. So, taking a moment to pause, asking those questions. Will this create peace or pressure? Am I rushing? And does this fit my long-term goals? Hi, your future self. There's no more. I love espresso. Okay, your future self. One thing I always recommend is pause. Look ahead 1 year, as I mentioned. Look ahead 5 years. Look ahead 10 years. Life, income changes, impacts, things happen. And ask yourself, does this decision still make sense? Take some time to think about it. And that is okay. Calm decisions. Okay, so calm decisions. The best financial decisions usually do not feel rushed. They feel thought through, and then they feel calm. Just make sure you're making the best decision at the end of the day. Okay. And in closing, my goal with these sessions is to never pressure. I do not like pressure. I have created situations in the past where there has been pressure. Now, I will tell you this, there are timelines and stuff when you go through a broker or lender, so just be cautious and ask questions. For example, how long is my rate locked for, or is my rate even going to be locked? Is this going to require a credit check? What's the next steps? That is a beautiful question, is what are my next steps? I used to love when clients ask me this, and I still do. What are my next steps? What do I need to do? And yeah, I love to give that clear timeline and just make sure. Now, every lender or broker may have a different process, and just use caution and, use your gut, think about things through to make sure you're making the best decision. Okay. But yeah, my goal is to slow some things down, help people understand their equity, understand their options very clearly. Okay. And per usual, I will go ahead and just reintroduce some of the tools I created. So I have a payment estimator, and my calculator access is available with the purchase of the Calm Equity Guide I have. So my payment estimator is really nice because you can go in, and this is actually on my website, my personal website. So you can access this one here. And I will definitely put the link down there. But this just kind of gives you a look through so you can plug in loan amount, interest rate, loan term, just get an idea of how that your payment's going to look with property, homeowners insurance. So it goes into details for you if you are indeed thinking of making a move and just on the edge or just not sure what the payment's going to look like, things like that. And you can do your research. I also have exclusive equity finder. And this one I have Gen Z showing here. Oops, there we go. So Gen Z, and I have nostalgia. I love nostalgia, so I created this tool and my others as well with themes in regards to millennial, Gen Z, Gen X, and boomer. So it's actually really cool. So anyways, exclusive equity finder, you can plug in everything at a glance and see exactly what your equity is without having to contact a lender or broker. And this one is actually available with the Calm Equity Guide, which is here. And yeah, I do have a couple other tools as far as like a break even tool, amortization, just different things out there you can also utilize if so. Other than that, I hope everybody has a great evening. Wanted to keep this one short, and I hope everybody has a great rest of their week here. I will be conducting these weekly webinars every week, different topics here and there. And if you think of something that you want me to talk about too, I can definitely get on, as long as we are in compliance. And again, this is just educational only, just based off of my expertise here. And I hope Everybody has a great rest of the week, okay? All right, we'll see you later.